In this video, we're going to be walking through Voyant's plan settings. It's important to review your plan's settings before you get too deep in the planning process. This is because the plan settings greatly affects your plan's outcomes. To do this, you're going to navigate down to the plan settings section at the bottom of your dashboard. We're going to click on this, and let's start at the default ages section in the top left-hand side. Your default mortality age is controlled at the subscription level. So the subscription owner of your plan is going to be the one that controls the default mortality age. To control this at a plan level, you can drag and drop the mortality ages on your client's timeline. Child-owned accounts can be adjusted at the plan level by adjusting the ages here in the text box. Next, we're going to go to inflation and growth. This is going to have several settings that are available to you to adjust things like inflation rate, which controls the way that expenses or goals inflate over time in your plan. And we have things like the investment growth rate, which adjusts how fixed growth rate adjusts over time. Also things like CPP or QPP COLA rate adjusts over time, and other various settings that you see here. If you have a question about what a different setting is, we also have inline help. So you see all of these have these dotted underlined hyperlinks. This means that you can click on them and get additional information about what that setting is and what it controls. Next, we're going to go to fees and taxation. You can control the fees that are applied to any of these different investable growth rates. We're going to go to our effective tax brackets. We do use the basic Canadian tax brackets in all of our planning. However, if you have a special case that you're working with a client who has a special tax rate, you can turn on your effective tax brackets and use a special tax bracket scenario for that client. I'm going to turn that back off. And then under asset allocation, your firm may have custom portfolios already preloaded in your subscription, and if they do, you'll see the option to click here and load custom portfolios. You can load in a default portfolio here in your plan settings, or you can use this section to input your own default portfolio. Under market assumptions, you'll see your firm's default market assumptions listed here, and this is going to be what's used for any sort of major loss scenario or Monte Carlo scenario. And then under major loss, this is going to be the settings that are used in a major loss scenario, whether you're using the insight or the major loss scenario provided to you on the timeline. And you can do anywhere from 1 to 5 years for that scenario. Liquidation order at a high level. This is how the software liquidates assets in the retirement stage. So the software will always look for cash, pensions, and any other sort of income available in the plan, and then it'll move to this liquidation order. You can use this to move these items up and down the liquidation order, and you can even move certain items from the left-hand side if you want to move them into the liquidation order. Moving to savings order, this is where you tell the software how to prioritize savings. So if you are modeling contributions going into certain account types and your clients are running out of funds to be able to make all of these contributions, you're telling the software which account types to prioritize to make contributions, and you can move certain account types from one section on the left-hand side. You can delete them and you can move them up or down. Moving over here to calculation settings, there's some important things in here that you should definitely review. You can turn off or on CPP sharing. You can turn off or on optimized pension splitting. It is important to know that in Voyant, we do assume all excess income is spent, but you can turn this option on. If you do that, all excess income will be moved into your client's default surplus accounts. And you can also choose to do that only for the retirement phase if you'd like. And again, there are hyperlinks in here if you have questions about what any of these items do. And then again, as always, as you're in the system, if you have questions about what any of this is or you need assistance, you can click the name of your client in the top right, hit request support, and enter your question into the text box. Thanks for listening.